Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is the Chicken, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my entire farm, and I'm going to be giving like some summaries over what we have around here. Alright, so we're going to start down here in the area that I would really call the front or backyard, but since they're basically like split right down the middle, I'm not really going to consider it that. Alright, so over here, up until those boulders on that cherry tree over there, this is our main yard. And yeah, we actually do have some grapes growing around here. And this yard contains all of our current flocks of chickens, and here are the wild grapes that we have. They are edible, but, you know, they're really bitter, and I don't really want to try that. We have the dog yard right there. We have our garden and chickens. They're way over here. This is the pet flock. We have some other stuff hanging around here. Yeah, we put up the tire swing. It fell right off of that while it was on it, too. It didn't hurt or anything. I just felt the thing, like, lowering, and I just ran off of that thing. Here's the flock of chickens right over here. The flock that, if you've been subscribed to my channel for at least 5 minutes, you probably know what this is. This is my flock of chickens, and this is my garden right over here. And yeah, I figured I'd show you like some of the stuff here in the garden. And so, yeah, this is the garden. Now let me bring you all the way down to here where we have a rhododendron bush. You don't want to have them around chickens, but chickens, they know that they, for the most part, know it's poisonous and what's not. We have rogue tomatoes right over here. I think they're starting to crinkle up because we're in a pretty bad drought right now. We're in D3 extreme. And then down there is our farm flock. Now let's take a look at what's next to come. Now the only reason we can tell our fields apart from each other is basically because every field on our farm, since it's a pretty old farm, is separated with stone walls. Now let me take you to this field right here. It's about 4 acres combined. It's a pretty large field, I'd say. And yeah, there's tons and tons of milkweed in this field. Don't get me wrong, this is a really nice field, but there's just a ton of milkweed in this field. I think we did, I don't know if there's that much poison ivy here, and even if it is, it's way up there. We actually used this field for hay earlier this year. But this plant right here, this moron right there, decided to ruin the entire hay harvest. I think that's horse nettle. I don't know if it is, but there's some up there and there's tons of it. And horse nettle is an extremely awful plant. It hurts when you touch it, and it kills livestock. Now, over there is our UTV. I don't know if it's ATV or UTV path. It just happens, like when you ride in one area specifically and you constantly use that path, it's opening up all the time. Now let me move on to this field. Now this field right here, we've had this field for forever, since we've owned this property since 2017. And I didn't even know this was part of our property until we actually started to clear this area out in early May of 2019. And up until that point, I didn't think that this field was ours. And when we finally finished weeding it out, it was a whole different scene. That barn right there didn't exist. This entire field wasn't this steep. Simply put it, when we were doing this barn back in 2020, what we did was we actually like cleared this entire field. We dug the area where we wanted the barn. This field was a lot less of a slope. It was a lot more of like, sort of like a flat way down. Now this is just, now in the winter, this is like the field that you want to sled in because it's open. This field is constantly being maintained. And then down here, believe it or not, this is actually still part of the field. It's on exactly 1 acre of land. And then down here we have our farm flock of chickens. I don't know if they're out right now at this hour, but one thing's for sure is that they are down here. This area actually was coated with a bunch of relics, also known as litter from the early 2000s. And yeah, let me show you. This is the flock of chickens that I've been talking about. And yeah, I don't know if they're out yet. I think they're in because I can hear them all getting up to their appropriate locations for the night. They are really early. They do this around this time every winter, except maybe extends by an hour. Right now it's about 6 o'clock, and I got out here since this is the golden hour to film. Alright, so we are now in this field, and this field is on, I think, like 1.75 acres or something like that. It's somewhere between 1.5 and 95 acres. I don't remember what it is. But this field goes all the way down to the woods over there, which is still on our plot of land. All the way up to that corner over there, through that corner, and all the way down there. So it's actually one of the squarest fields we have. But it's not the most squarest field we have. And just like every other field on our property, it's coated with horse nettle. Everyone's favorite plant. Also known as everyone's least favorite plant. This area was pretty heavily weeded through, like, recently. Until we recently started maintaining these fields more often. And now that we know what we're going to do with this field in the future and stuff like that, now we can officially, like, keep this field maintained for that stuff. And yeah, this channel is just to document, like, the journey about that stuff. So, you know, if you want to see more farming videos and stuff along the way and stuff along that line, you know, just farm life in general, mainly about chickens and gardening, well, then I recommend you click subscribe because, well, that's what I really want to do. 500. It's not that hard. Now, welcome to the overgrown, quote-unquote, field, everyone. This field used to be very overgrown. In fact, it was to the point where you see all that bushery down there? That was everywhere throughout this field. Now, if you follow me up to the top here, you will notice that, well, we now have a part of our garden up here too, yeah. Believe it or not, this is our corn and pumpkin patch up here. It's right over there. And yeah, throughout all this milkweed and stuff like that, yeah, that's all corn and pumpkins. You know, I'll say that the upper part of this field is really well maintained, while down there, yeah, it's a whole different story. I also must say, this field is definitely surprising me based on, like, stuff like that, but the pumpkins, they're starting to come in like crazy over here. Well, I've noticed that this stuff is starting to die back, and that's basically because, well, when you look in here, there's pumpkins everywhere. I must say, this is pretty amazing. And yeah, there's corn over here. I think there's still a couple left to harvest, but the raccoons have been up here just annihilating everything. Now, this field is a deer field. Well, it used to be a deer field. And up here in this field, wow, it's a pretty nice field up here. This is the best field that if you want to see a sunset, well, if I want to capture a sunset on video or something like that, this is the field that I would go to. Simply put it, this field is amazing. It has, I want to say, about 2.25 acres or something like that. This field is on a pretty decent plot of land, I must say. And yeah, I mean, look at all this. Yeah, I really need to start commentating more, but this field is so much more open. With a lot less, like, horse nettle and stuff like that in this field. It's honestly amazing. Just one more field to talk about before you enter the woods. Now, this field is also pretty well open to other stuff. Yeah, this farm is actually coated with a bunch of tree stands, and just right here, this field is no exception. Because right here we have a tree stand right here, and that's what I use to check and see how the wildlife is doing and seeing, well, what do we have out here? There's hay bales over there from this year's hay harvest. The field really isn't that open. However, last year, to help get the people that do our hay on our farm in here, because there's an unmaintained dirt road right over there, and since it's pretty easily accessible by tractors, that's why we have this pretty well open area down there. And yeah, now let's go to the woods, everyone. Alright, so we are now in the place where I usually try my best to generate content ideas in. Now, this woods is really soothing, trust me. I'm currently walking through it around 7 o'clock right now, so it's sunset, and this is the golden time to film, and that's why I came out here to do so. Now, there are some pretty dangerous pipes over here that I'm not going to go near because, well, I guess I could go near them, I just don't want to, like, risk getting whatever disease is on there. Anyways, let's continue to go down here and show you what's left of the brook, because when you combine a beaver dam and a really bad drought, well, what you get is what I'm about to show you, but this is pretty nice if you know what I mean, honestly. Like, this is really lush. This is what I really love about having leaves on the trees, because in the winter here, it's just, like, completely, like, blank. Like, everything's just dead. Now it's, like, sprawling everywhere. And I have a 95% And now I have a 95% more likely chance to get a bunch of prickers stuck on my leg. I don't know what y'all call it. Some people call them thorns. I call them prickers. Some people call them pokers. I call them prickers because that's what I've called them for my entire life. But now we're starting to get into the area where we're starting to near the brook because the lush wilderness is starting to increase out here. Well, I figured, I showed you what this would look like. And imagine what this would look like in like October, or maybe even early November, when the leaves are changing colors. I don't even know if the leaves will even change colors this year. I mean, look at this. They're already starting to change colors. Just simply because of how dry it's been over here. Like, it's been absolutely awfully dry here. And I don't know how long this is going to last for. I mean, this could even go on to be one of those droughts that they get out in the west. I doubt that, but it is entirely possible. Alright, let me cut until I get down to the brook. Now, welcome to the former brook, everyone. This used to be such an amazing place. But now look at this. Just dry. It used to be such a great place to just go down and hang out in, and oh my god, it brings back so many memories. This brook has always been here. It never had a name, but, you know, it's always been here, and always enjoyed being down here with it. And now that it's gone, it's honestly kind of saddening, to say the least, but yeah. Just the way that life goes, everyone. And since that is just how it's happened, I guess that's how it's happened. I mean, there is some water every now and then here, but not like a whole lot. And then there's just a pond over here of water. I remember I once went crayfishing in this water, and those were some of the best days of this brook. Now I just have this pond right here. And it's not even moving water anymore. And that was about it.